Thanks po sa mga nag-comments nung nakaraang live po natin. At yung mga ilan-ilan po na nanonood pa rin pala sa ating video. Maraming salamat po. Ituloy niyo lang po yung pag-research ninyo at yung pagbabasa po ninyo tungkol sa NPD or Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Kasi it's part po na to heal yourself is to understand what happened at kung ano po yung totoong pinagdaanan ninyo. Marami po kayong matututunan dyan sa mga research ninyo at sa mga tao rin po na nakaranas ng NPD or narcissistic abuse. So yun, ang topic po natin ay about sa triangulation. So, triangulation, may mga babasahin po tayo dito na forum is a sharing ideas, questions and answer. Ito, why does virtually any narcissist triangulate? Kasi po yung triangulation po is part of narcissist game. Lagi po talaga yung kasama. Minsan hindi natin namamalayan na we are triangulated kasi ganun naman po talaga eh. Lahat naman po ng biktima ng NPD, hindi natin alam na we are in that mind game long time na wala tayong kaalam-alam. So, yung triangulation po, it also happened to me before nung I was dealing with a narcissist. Ano po yan sila? Yung narcissist, yung divide and conquer po yan. At saka kung meron silang opinion or something na gusto nilang manipulahin ka, gusto nilang baguhin yung reality mo, gusto nila maniwala ka dun sa binibenta nilang version ng story, magbabanggit yan sila ng tao na siya nga eh, halimbawa si Ana nga eh, sinabi niya nga sa akin na ganyan. Yung feeling mo na may nag-agree sa kanya dun sa opinion na yun. So ikaw feeling mo mag-questionin mo yung sarili mo na baka nga sila yung tama kasi kasi magagather po yan ng ibang tao to agree with them. Pero hindi po lahat ng tao din yung binanggit nilang pangalan sa iyo. Mind you guys, they are also not aware that they are triangulated. So, yung narc lang gusto ka lang niyang papaniwalain. Na kaya nga as much as possible also they are trying to control na hindi ka magkaroon ng contact sa taong binanggit niya kasi alam niya na mabubuking siya. Kaya lahat ng communication kailangang dumaan sa kanya. Kumbaga pasa-pasa ba? Triangulated nga, di ba? Ayan, triangulated. Pasa-pasa. Hindi ka pwedeng direct communicate ka doon. At ito po na magandang how to imbalance the narcissist is sabihin mo siya na pasensya na pero hindi ako comfortable to discuss it with you. Hindi ako comfortable na pag-usapan ito. Kung may issue sa akin yung taong ito or ganyan, gusto ko yung siya yung mismong kausap ko ng harapan. Ganun mo siya mai-imbalance. Tapos, period. Wala ka nang ibang sasabihin, iwanan mo na, umalis ka na. Ganun mo siya i-imbalance. Yung mga NPD. At sa ganun, kumbaga, ilalagay mo sila sa kanilang, sa kanilang place, sa kanilang lugar. Yeah. So, I think all of us at some stage in our lives experience what it is like to be compared to others and how that feels for us. Yeah, kung ikaw ba naman, ikumpara ka, i-triangulate ka, di ba? Many of those with narcissism have had traumatic experience during their formative years. Usually, this involves their caregivers. When someone who should provide us love and affection instead break us down and compare us to others, it can be devastating. Hello po. Someone is watching. Later in life, the same tactic can be used towards others. You see, yung narcissistic po na behavior, ang ano po niyan is a learned behavior eh. Kung hindi man nasa lahi o nasa genes, more on learned behavior siya kasi yun ang nakikita mo eh. So, ma-apply mo rin yan later in life. At naku, napakahirap po niyan. Kaya nga po ko, walang awareness yung magulang. Wala rin pong mangyayari sa mamanahin po yung pagiging narcissistic ng magulang. Mamanahin po ng mga new generation. Later in life, the same tactic can be used toward others. This will help to give the narcissist the control they wish to have in the moment, as well as supplying them with fuel, making them feel important and powerful, and soothing their core fragility. For a moment, at least, this is the origins of triangulation. In the moment of triangulation, the people involved will feel a sense of competition. They may feel less than the person they are now competing with due to the narcissist's behavior and words. It breaks down your spirits. Yeah, it breaks down your spirits. Kaya nga ang hirap niya pong i-heal kasi the wounds is invisible. It's not physical. It's emotion and spirit. They may also compete for the narcissist's affection as they are now seeing the narcissist as more desirable because others are involved. Think of an auction. Narcissists are very good at generating a sense of excitement and scarcity about themselves. This triggers feeling in us which often echo our own core wounds in some way. One important thing to remember is that triangulation will not work with everyone. Some people won't be triangulated because as soon as they realize they are being compared with others or are competing with other love rivals in some way, they will remove themselves from the relationship either completely or partially and ultimately leave at some stage. Naku, napakaganda po nito. Yung kaagad, yung took out yourself. Alisin mo yung yung sarili mo sa environment na yun. Napakaganda po yan. Huwag niyong hantayin na makontaminate kayo. Na ma-involve kayo sa drama. Narcissists cannot understand when their tactics do not work against another individual, and they may verbalize this with you, often describing you as being emotionless. Yeah, emotionless ka kasi you are not reacting to their manipulation eh. Ayan, masama ka na kasi you are not reacting. Grabe. Narcissists see the world through their eyes only. Their belief in this world is just as rigid as their black and white thinking because it is also part of the problem. When someone does not follow their script, they will notice this immediately and call it out in some way. You have changed. You are cold. Oh my goodness, it's so familiar. You have changed. This is the laughable irony of narcissism that confuses most. The person seemingly devoid of empathy and feeling who has not responded to your pain in the past now describe you as cold. Kasi yun lang naman ang nakikita nila, yung sarili nila. Everything with a narcissist external. People regulate them emotionally and build their ego. People are merely tools, though the narcissist may not see it quite this way. The most they are likely to acknowledge if aware enough would be that they behave similarly to children who want their own way. Kasi they are children trapped in adult's body naman talaga. Yung kanilang emotional intelligence is like a 3 or 5 years old. But they still do not understand how deeply lacking in many emotional aspects they are. And how could they? We all see the world through our own lens. Triangulation can be one of the most painful parts of emotional abuse. Excuse me. It highlights a narcissist's lack of empathy and care for others and shows they are incapable of seeing others as human beings. Ultimately, a narcissist wishes to maintain control of their world and relationship by any means necessary. You see, at the end, it's all about control. Yeah, that's the dynamic of triangulation. Once you are triangulated, you remove yourself. Huwag niyong hantayin talaga na makontaminate kayo. Yan, there's another question. Ito. Triangulation, one of the instrumental aggression tools carried by third party to attack, debase, abuse, and vandalize you as a victim of narcissistic abuse. It's a technique to spread anxiety. Triangulation is when narcissist recruits a third party to attack you, which is pure offensive mechanism and has nothing to do with defensive mechanism as narcissists claim. You don't ruin what you want to keep, but narcissists deliberately ruin you and attack you because of their hostile and aggressive nature that is based on the excuse me, on the hatred for humanity. Instrumental aggression is planned, calculated, premeditated, predatory, deliberate, covert or overt, indirect, goal-oriented, and self-serving. Intentional and planned out beforehand, committed with the intent to cause emotional, psychological damage. It's simply driven by desire. Ayan. Do you think makukonsensya sila na yung yung epekto ng mga ginagawa nila sa'yo? Hindi. They enjoy it and they love it. Parang drug nga yan sa kanila eh. Kasi when you're in pain, they are in good. They are good. Napifeel nila they are in heaven. Yeah. Kaya nga some professionals, some people call them evil on earth. Yeah. Back to the question, what is narcissistic triangulation? It's a filthy, coward attack on your personhood. Whatever it is, definitely it's not a defense to anything. It's offense and it's offensive and almost sadistic. Narcissism is all about offense and offending you. This is why we can never get along with them. You can never get along with them. Really, kahit ano pa yung gawin mo. Naku, bottomless pit po ang mga yan. Hindi yan sila matatapos. Kaya, if you serve them, naku, asahan mo na they are entitled to that para bang pag-aari ka nila. It's like you are there to serve their needs na wala kang karapatan to ask for what you need. Kasi, di ba, hindi tao ang tingin nila sa atin ng mga yung biktima nila or yung target nila. They see us as an object to use. So how dare you voice out your needs? Ano ka lang naman, who you are. Parang ganun ba, mababa, ganun. It's all about them kasi yung gusto nilang ma-fulfill. In a romantic relationship, a narcissist will often bring in friends of the opposite sex, mostly new acquaintances, and point out to you that this person is attracted to them. Whereas an emotionally mature person in committed relationship will say something like, I think that person has a bit of thing for me, so I'm keeping a bit of distance so that they don't get any ideas. A narcissist will sound as if they are really pleased by it and treat the person as more special than their other friends. This will be done in front of you to the point of making you uncomfortable. If you comment, you will be accused of being jealous. Your feelings will never be considered. This will happen even if they have friends of the opposite sex that you are absolutely fine with and accept as your partner's friend. It will be of no use to you to point out that you have no problem with these other friends, just this current one and the way your partner is behaving around them. The narcissist is just enjoying themselves, and who are you to stop it? By paying the narcissist attention, this new friend is more valuable to them. It will make you feel insecure, and it is meant to. Your feelings don't matter. They don't understand them. They are caught up in the moment of enjoying the flattery. This is triangulation in a relationship. Over time, you will see this happen more and more. There will be opposite sex friends who you get along with fine and don't think twice about. Then one will pop up who you are told wants your partner, and that one will be their special, new exciting friend. They make a point of telling you all about it and showing how delighted by it they are. You know deep down that someone who loves you wouldn't create such misery for you. But by making you feel bad if you say something, a narcissist will get you to worry that it is you getting paranoid. You will start to question things since you don't mind their other opposite sex friends. It's a particularly odd and unsettling experience when they become so happy over someone who is obviously attractive to them. It's how you're able to tell yourself that you're not some crazy, jealous monster. The problematic ones are the ones who threaten your relationship and who your partner becomes fixated with and doesn't care about your feelings. They will tire of these people eventually and you won't hear about them again. It is inevitable though that sooner or later it will happen again. The triangulation will not happen with all their opposite sex friends, just the ones who are obviously attractive to them. This is because they want you to know that there is potentially someone else. It's to create insecurity in you. Narcissists in a relationship love these dramas. They may even seem surprised that you are not as ecstatic about it as they are. Your concerns will be dismissed and the narcissist will behave as if you're being mean-spirited for trying to spoil their fun. It's your problem, not theirs. Also, it will happen exactly the same way with everyone who is attracted to them. You will end up feeling insecure and upset if you let yourself worry about it. So don't let yourself worry about this drama. Just stop reacting, let it go, and don't rise to the bait. Then prepare to leave. I did because it doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. Keep in mind, it doesn't get better. The more you stay, the more na palalim kang nakabaon doon sa putik. The more it's hard for you to get out. Yeah, wag kayong umasa really na magbabago, babait po yan ng ilang araw lang. But yung sickness po nila kung if you pay attention, that sickness is pattern, it's a cycle. Ilang buwan ba yan na paulit-ulit, the same scenario. Siguro different reason, pero same yung pattern. Yung pattern ba, paulit-ulit, cycle. It's a cycle. You have to break that cycle. Kasi once you break that cycle, hindi lang ikaw ang isisave mo yung family. Yung family mo na sa atin ng mga nabiktima nito, it's either it runs in our family or some in our family. Meron yan. But we are not aware. But once you wake up and you break that cycle, hindi lang sarili mo ang isave mo eh. Kasi you can now educate your family, you can share ideas, and you can maybe try to tingnan mo kung sino sa family ang mayroong empathy. Doon ka doon mo i-share yung ideas o yung mga ano ba yan, mga experience mo. Pero wag niyong i-open up yan sa narcissist kasi you will be targeted. Hindi yan nila maiintindihan at iisipin nila na you are against them. You don't have to do anything against them. Leave them. Let them be who they are. Yung ganun lang po. Hayaan mo silang maging sila kasi that's how they are eh. You cannot save them, we cannot fix them, and our love will not fix them. Kahit asawa mo yan, nanay mo yan. If you really want to live a life, at napakaiksi lang po ng buhay, wag niyong sayangin sa kanyan. Huwag yung sayangan po sa taong disorder na yan. Kasi kung hindi nyo po yung responsibility, kahit na, yeah, you promise to be with them on your vows, diba? For example, kung asawa ninyo yan. Pero, hindi po yun enough na isacrifice mo yung sarili mo. Kasi bakit? Pag hinayaan mo yan siya to suck you, tapos nawala ka dyan, nasagkasakit ka, or talagang bigay mo lahat yung energy mo, then anong mangyari sa'yo dyan? Do you think na it fix them? Hindi. Hindi naman yan mababago eh. Hindi yan mababago. And once one day suck you dry already, wala na kayong maibuga, wala na kayong maibigay, itatapon lang din naman kayo ng narcissist. Kasi they will look for another source of supply. Kasi anong function mo dyan? Eh, di ba, ang tingin nga nila is isa ka lang bagay. Eh, wala ka ng function eh. Ano bang pakinabang yun? Pakinabang, di ba? Pag parang cellphone lang yan, pag hindi na gumaga, anong gagawin? Papalitan, di ba? O bibili ng bago, ganyan lang yan sila. Ito na. Basahin natin. For me, I was the secondary supply unknowingly, and the narc had his primary supply who he had already had before me. Ngayon wala siyang maalay. I was found as means to distract him, boredom common with narcissists, but also tool to arouse jealousy for the other woman. I think I also helped keep his mind off of her, and fuel his need for supply while he was secretly building up desire from his primary supply to want him. I mean, I think about it. We all love another to fulfill our desires while going through a breakup or even pseudo love just to take our mind off the pain a breakup evokes. You must understand that everything a narcissist does is for selfish gain. The narc is either using you through triangulation to punish the primary supply and ease his or her own needs while giving the primary supply the silent treatment, or to guarantee never being without supply. Remember, without supply, the narc cannot survive. Para lang tayong ginagawang, para mga vampira ito, hindi sila mabubuhay, hindi sila makasipsip ng dugo. Yung mga narcissist, ang sinasak nila is our energy. Ayan. Remember, without supply, the narc cannot survive. That is why it is your job, knowing this critical information, to not be the narc's supply. You are just being used. If the narc ever acts like she does care, it's only to reinforce control over you. Yes. Wag niyong talaga, wag niyong pansinin yung bumait. Inano kayo ng regalo. Never, wag niyong don't give a fuck that they can keep it. Yung narc na nakadil ko, yung huling yung huling niya sa akin is he bought me a diamond ring. Alam niya yun na wala na siyang mapipiga sa akin kasi why we are together. I was also reading about narcissism, and he exposed a previous narcissist, yung unang narcissist na nakadil ko din. He's the reason why I woke up. Kasi first time kong narinig sa kanya yung word na narcissist. He called her a narcissist. And then I started, it's a new for me. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung ibig sabihin. Then I started Googling. My goodness, that's how I woke up. That's how I realized na grabe. Ang tagal ko palang naging tawag dito, source of supply nitong narcissist na nakadil ko yung unang akala ko kaibigan. Yeah. Tapos yun. Kasi 'di ba na-validate lahat ng ng experience eh. So you want more. Kasi doon yung mga questions mo kasi wala ka namang mapagtanungan. You don't even know it yourself. Ikaw sa sarili mo hindi mo alam kung anong nangyari. And then once I learned about I learned about narcissism, researching about narcissism, lahat po ng experience ko sa taong ito, every trick in their toolbox, nai-apply niya po sa akin. And ako, napaka-overwhelming, napaka-mind-blowing na once you wake up, nakakatakot po yung first na matatakot kayo kasi yung question nyo is it really happening? Ganyan. Is it really happening? May tao pala nag-i-exist na ganito. Ayan. So, sagutin ko po, kung may tanong kayo dyan, opo, meron. Meron. Hindi lang po kayo maniniwala, lalo na kung hindi nyo na-experience. Pero meron po. Maniwala po kayo sa mga tao na been there and done that. And saan na ba yun? It's not a life you want to live. Ayan o. You are just being used. If the narc ever acts like he or she does care, it's only reinforced control over you. Ako, my goodness, talaga. It's not a life you want to live. And who gets to have multiple partners anyway? The more that you are as a source of supply, feed the narc sickness by forgiving and allowing this treatment, the more you are reinforcing the negative behavior. Get out. Yan ang sabi dito. The more you reinforcing the negative behavior, get out. Yan lang po talaga. That's the only way. Get out. Really, get out. Sa una po medyo mahirap yan. Kasi talagang pagdadaanan nyo yan, magde-detox kayo. Yung utak nyo magdi-denial. Ano ba itong tinolerate ko? Ano ba itong ganyan? Tapos yung pain na nararamdaman nyo po emotionally, tapos gusto nyong bumalik kasi akala nyo yung pain na nararamdaman nyo is because you love this narcissist. Hindi po yan love. It's an addiction. Kasi you used to, parang naging addict din kayo yun. Kasi di ba yun, meron silang yung parang push and pull trick. Nagkukos po yan ng addiction. As an emotional, reinforcement, emotional addiction. So, yung pain po nararamdaman nyo, kailangan nyo po talaga yan, pagdaanan. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcut. Please know na hindi lang po kayong dumaan sa ganyan, kundi lahat po ng mga NPD abuse victim ay dumaan sa ganyan. And dyan po masusukat yung tatag ninyo kasi nobody can save you but yourself. Kasi kahit yung kamag-anak nyo, yung therapist nyo, o yung mga research po na binabasa ninyo, iisa po ang sinasabi, get out. Kami po, we are just showing you the way. But you have to walk there alone. Ganun po, ganun po. So, kayang-kaya nyo po yan. Magtiwala po kayo sa sarili ninyo. Mahirap po, mahirap. Pero okay lang, baby step. Kung hindi nyo kayang gumapang kayo. Ganun lang. As long as it is back, the way is back to yourself. Kahit gumapang kayo back to yourself, okay lang yan. Wag na wag lang kayong bumalik sa narcissist na yan kasi it only get worse. Yan. U-turn. Ito na. More on triangulation pa rin po tayo All of cluster B triangulate for different reasons. Psychopaths might do it to increase the productivity of their tools by fostering competition for amusement. Borderlines may do it to increase the quantity and quality of love and affection from you, or utterly annihilate you. Narcissists could do it to increase the amount of attention you give them and significance you attribute to them. You will know you are aboard the good ship narcissist triangle when you feel despair, frustration, and need to explain yourself. Never ever explain yourself over and over again to one of the parties who does not care. Yeah, they don't care. You will know you are aboard the good ship narcissist triangulation when you feel despair, frustration, and the need to explain yourself over and over again to one of the parties who does not care. Here's how you deal with triangulation. You turn the triangle into a line. You must remove yourself from the triangle as politely and quietly as you can. Agree with whatever garbage the other parties have to say and withdraw as much as you are able. You want to do some inconspicuously and politely as you back over towards the rails, saying your apologies as you lower the life raft. Once out of sight, paddle furiously for your life. Yan. Now, the two parties must look at each other square in the eye and share the failure of the narcissist has generated. Through their greed, lies, and all-around short-sightedness. Often, what narcissists will do is triangulate you with someone that has power than you. They are trying to make you run afoul of them, so your status is lowered and you become the communal punching bag. By removing yourself, the narcissist has now pitted themselves against authority figure. When they fail, and they will, there will be nobody to blame but each other. The stress will increase and the threat of shame looms like an iceberg. Seen too late. Oh my goodness. This is exactly what I did. You see, hindi mo kailangan dumihan yung kamay mo, hindi mo kailangan dumihan yung reputation mo to trash them back, to smear them back. You don't need all that. Just remove yourself from that garbage, from that mud. It's enough for them really kasi it's not to work the manipulation. It's enough to remove yourself. As their sinking ship launches and rolls in the sea of incompetence, both remaining parties will become ingrained. There's you, safe ashore, sipping cocktails on the beach as that water pours into the hold, and everyone else with any sense in abandoning ship. They will then round on each other. Someone's going down with this ship. Get out before you go down. So yeah, do not play with the devil. Ayan. What is triangulation? Triangulation is introduction of a third person, real or imagined, that's used to upset balance and reality in a relationship. Any kind of relationship. This tactic is not only employed by narcissists but all types of individuals, and it occurs in many forms. Here are some few examples. The presence of another lover, and you are expected to compete against that person for someone's affection and attention. So they want to create jealousy. The gaslight triangle. This is what I think of you, and so does everyone else. Yeah. The everyone else in this example is the third leg of this triangle and said everyone else may be real or imagined. This tactic can be used in a positive or negative way, but typically negative when dealing with toxic people. But it's also used by others as validation. Your ex and I both agree you are abusive, Ash, because that statement may be well true for victims. Sorry. Why can't you be more like for example, that friend? Comparison. That is also to provoke jealousy. Yeah. When and why do narcissists triangulate, and what response are they hoping for? Narcissists triangulate you because they want to feel superiority over you, to make you feel dispensable, to crush you emotionally, to confuse you, to make them seem desirable, sometimes or rather always to test your response. It is instinctive for them. It plays on many of your emotions. All of the above, getting your work up inside gives them a sense of control. As long as they are in control of your emotions, they are in control of you. And if they are control of you, they feel in control of themselves. Yeah, they are using you. They are using you as a quick fix. And they can relax, kind of. The best you can do is walk away from the night. I did it! Nagkamot sila ng ulo. Nagkamot sila ng ulo yung mga manat. Kasi guys, ito once naintindihan nyo, you will know na hindi lang isang isa lang yung alam nyo na yung sobrang massive yung pag-abuse sa inyo, iisa lang. But if you open your eyes, you will see them kung ilan dyan sa grupo na yan, ilan dyan sa you think your friend or your family, ilan dyan ang long time ago picking on you na hindi mo alam. You will find out, and that's so liberating, guys. You cut the contact right away. And that's what I did. Yeah, happy me. Yes, really. I gained myself back, and I learned to appreciate myself. Never ever to people please. Never again. Saan na ba yun? The best you can do is walk away from the night. The second best you can do is pretend that you are not affected and show no emotional response. The latter might cause them to try even harder to get emotional response out of you, but hold your ground. Still, I would recommend walking away. Yan walk away, guys. Walk away. Mga anak, wala yung empathy They are even using their kids. Ginagawa nilang kasangkapan yung mga anak nila to use it against you. Yeah, di ba ang hirap nun? Tapos palabasin ka na masama kang ina, masama kang ama. Brainwashin nila yung yung mga anak. Hindi nila iniisip ba kung yung anong epekto nun sa anak nila. Kasi ang iniisip lang naman nila is that they get what they want. Ma-accomplish nila yung they want to be winner kasi that's all they want. Ayan Triangulation is just a narcissistic threesome ploy aimed at defeating a target for supply. There are limitless examples of triangulation. The rule is to divide and conquer. For them, it's like killing two birds with one stone. Only they never lifted a finger. A narcissist could hate both neighbors, slash their car tires, then claim to have witnessed one slashing the others, and vice versa. The motive is to get two neighbors to reflect the narcissist hate into each other in a senseless spot. Then narcissists will laugh at how stupid they are. See? A narcissist can have two lovers and claim that they are abusive. They will say bad about one to the other. Tell them both that they are the cherished daddy of their kid. Then step back and be entertained by the food they created. They can get both men to pay child support and get them to see the other as the enemy. When both believe they are the love and the hate the other enough to get physical, the narcissist will laugh at how stupid they are. Narcissists never want anyone to be happy. The joy of others always brings them displeasure, so they will spread rumors of your partner's cheating. When they create doubts in your mind enough for you to lose sleep or question your partner, they will be satisfied. But if they cause your partner to become frustrated enough to argue over a person that does not exist, they will celebrate how stupid you both are. In that case, triangulation is successful, one against the other. My goodness, how can be a person so evil? If you're not easily influenced by others and can quickly spot a liars, the narcissist will stomp at their own defeat. Not everyone thinks that they can fall prey or be that gullible, but people often seek validation and entertainment, harmful gossip. They often join forces supporting other narcissistic behaviors and ideologies. They were taught to distrust their hearts and not be critical thinkers, but to follow the message going with the flow. The sad truth is narcissists don't stop enough as it is very rare for everyone to defy their definition of stupid. My goodness. So, I hope na, what about this one? Ito, let's read this. Last one. Why does a narcissistic mother triangulate her children? Because she must to maintain control. Triangulation, in short, is when a third party is brought into two-party conflict. In a family where a parent is narcissistic, there is always a GC and scapegoat, golden child and scapegoat. If there is only one child, there are alternating times when the child is golden child or the scapegoat. Back to the why the mother does this for a number of reasons. The first part of the triangulation is bringing in the third party. Personal example, my husband and I see marriage counselor. A must if your checks all the narcissistic boxes, and occasionally he will assign us homework for the next week's session. This was following one of her hurtful, toxic, inappropriate episodes. His homework was simple. Text his mom to tell her that when she was ready to talk about the recent thing she had said, to give him a call. So he texted her, and within a couple of hours he got a text from his brother telling him to stop talking to mom about dumb shit. He responded telling him to stay the fuck out of it because it's none of his business. His brother interpreted that as call me, which he did over and over while my husband was at work. He answered the first call, listened for less than a minute, and hung up. My husband then called me, vented, and I told him not to call his mom until he got home. I sent his brother a text about flying monkeys because he is one. I can no longer use that term because they rewrite definition. You can't call a person flying monkey because that is racial term. However, it is okay to call your sweet toddler monkey because they're cute. His convo with his mom went as expected it would. And bless his heart, he's been dealing with his bullshit his entire life and is still new to the realization that his mother really doesn't care about his feelings. The first thing he addressed was why he texted her and got response from his brother. She had a couple bullshit reasons, none which he believed. The real issue to be discussed resulted in narcissistic rage injury. This is what he do when he discussed the outcome with our therapist. The doc asked him the appropriate, why do you think your brother responded? Type questions followed with, do you think your mother uses him to do her bidding? Another example, there are so many, but I'll keep this brief. This bullshit behavior from his mom was new and we were headed to my parents' lake house for holiday. A couple years ago, my husband wanted to invite his parents. My parents reluctantly said okay because they love us. However, it was clear his brother was not welcome. My parents knew about the fucked up thing he had did to me and my 9-year-old, and they drew that line. This was expressed to my mother-in-law who understood. She then went home and invited my brother-in-law. We didn't know this, and the night before his parents were to come out, his mom said they weren't because his brother couldn't drive them. They're like to be chauffeured for travel. My goodness. Fast forward a couple weeks and my husband is at his parents for an impromptu talk with his mom. His brother was there and proceeded to ask my husband why he invited him to my parents only to disinvite him. He looked at his mom and said, "Did I invite him, mom?" Being a narcissist, she was entitled to just roll her eyes and not respond. Who the fuck does that? His mother invited his brother, damn well knowing he was not invited, and for a good damn reason, only to tell him he was disinvited and she would stay home and spend the holiday with him. I don't even like the guy and I felt bad for his mother doing this to him. I was infuriated that she did so and then used my husband to hurt him. She does this for control. She wants to control for the dialogue with lies so she can be the victim. When there is a victim, there is a victimizer and that person is bad. They're hurting mom, the delicate flower. She creates these divisions so the child she manipulates will do all her bidding. They are the one attacking their siblings and his family while she keeps her hands clean for whatever reason, typically visits with grandchildren. The flying monkey is used to abuse by proxy. Oh my god, yes. The sibling receiving the message is reminded that mom is beyond reproach to summarize all the things that mom is entitled to. Mainly unquestioned obedience. Ah, it's disgusting and pathetic. Yeah. Pinagsabong-sabong niya pa yung mga anak niya. She enjoyed the show. That's how the triangulation works. Yan. So, it's enough for today, guys. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for watching and love yourself first. Unahin po natin ang ating sarili bago ang ibang tao. Bye! See you next video. See you in our next video.